If your bank account looks the same as it did 3 years ago, the reason isn't your paycheck, the economy, or bad luck. It's what happens tonight around 11 p.m. when you pick up your phone, scroll for 40 minutes, and fall asleep telling yourself tomorrow will be different. But tomorrow, you'll do it again. Staying broke isn't a condition, it's a routine, and routines can be replaced. These are the daily habits that make staying poor nearly impossible, step by step. Here's the uncomfortable math underneath that. Your financial life isn't decided by the big moments, the raise, the windfall, the market crash. It's decided by your default day. The day you run on autopilot when nothing special is happening. Wake, work, scroll, spend, sleep. Whatever your default day produces, your life produces, multiplied by 10,000 repetitions. Most people never look at theirs. They assume wealth is an event. It isn't. It's a default day compounding. Take Sally. She's 36, a marketing manager making $61,000 a year. 3 years ago, her account balance was flat, and she had a story about why. Bad timing, high rent, an economy rigged against her. Some of that story was even true. None of it was the variable she controlled. The variable she controlled was the next 24 hours. That's where this starts. Because money doesn't wander into anyone's life. It moves toward people who are already in motion. Waiting for luck is a strategy with a 100% failure rate. Not because luck doesn't exist, but because luck can't compound for someone standing still. The first habit isn't financial at all. It's kinetic. Every day, do something. The match you strike matters less than the fact that you keep striking. And motion starts with something most finance videos won't touch, because it sounds soft. How you talk to yourself. This isn't manifestation. Nothing arrives because you visualized it, but identity drives behavior, and behavior drives the math. The person who says, "I'm bad with money," gives themselves permission to stay bad with money. The person who says, "I'm someone who saves," finds the $50. Your self-description is an instruction set. Write it deliberately, because your habits will execute it either way. That same instruction set decides how you react when someone else wins. A coworker buys a house, a friend's side business takes off. The default response is a quiet sulk, and the sulk is expensive because it reframes their success as your verdict. Flip it. Every win on your street is evidence that opportunity reaches your street. Their open door doesn't lock yours. Build your own. But here's where ambitious people sabotage themselves. They build 6 doors at once. A scattered mind is a flashlight in a football stadium, bright and useless. 20 goals feel productive. They're the fastest road back to nowhere. Pick one meaningful target, pour everything into it until it's done. Then pick the next. Focus isn't a personality trait. It's a daily decision, and it's the engine that drags wealth behind it. So far, this has been about your head. The next few habits are about your time, because that's where the money actually leaks. Start with the device in your hand. Your phone is either your greatest employee or your sneakiest thief, and it decides which one every single day. The same screen that eats your evening can open a store, land a client, or teach you a skill. The swap doesn't need to be dramatic. 30 minutes of scrolling traded for 30 minutes of a book, a tutorial, a skill. That's free mentorship from people who already solved your problem. Feed your brain daily, and your bank account follows on a delay. Then audit the rest of your hours, because time is the one currency you can't earn back. The Bureau of Labor Statistics American Time Use Survey puts the average American at nearly 3 hours of television a day. That's not a moral failing. It's an unexamined default. Give your sharpest hours, whenever your brain peaks, to the work that compounds, learning, creating, building, and reclaim the dead minutes, commutes, lines, dishes. Load them with podcasts, audiobooks, tutorials. Sally turned her 40-minute commute into a finance course. Nothing about her schedule changed. Everything about her trajectory did. Just don't confuse reclaiming time with eliminating rest. Real rest and wasted time are not the same thing. An all-day binge doesn't recharge you. It drains you and calls it relaxation. Rest with intent. A walk, 20 minutes of stillness, an actual reset. Energy is currency. Spend it like one. That's your head and your hours. Now the part you clicked for, the money itself. The core mechanic is older than every trick built on top of it. Live below your means, then put the gap to work. Every dollar you don't spend becomes an employee that works while you sleep, and those employees recruit. Dividends, interest, growth. Sally found $300 a month in her budget. Year 1, that's about $3,700, invested at an 8% average return. Barely worth noticing. Year 10, it's roughly $55,000. Year 20, around $165,000. And by then, the account earns more in a year than she contributes. That's not deprivation. That's voting for your future self with money your current self was wasting. Before the investing gets serious, though, build the shield. An emergency fund isn't optional. It's the thing that keeps one bad month from undoing 3 good years. Even $20 a week works, because the habit matters more than the amount. And while it builds, learn the language. Equity, cash flow, compound interest. These words separate people who fear the financial system from people who use it. Once you speak the language, banks and markets stop being threats. They become tools. Here's a tool almost nobody picks up: negotiation. Nearly everything is negotiable, and silence is the default that costs you. Sally called her internet provider, mentioned canceling, and asked for the retention rate: $25 a month back, $300 a year, for a 10-minute call, phone bill, subscriptions, rent renewal, salary. The worst case is a no that costs you nothing. The upside rewrites your budget without you working a single extra hour. And once the budget is tight, widen the inflow. One paycheck is one leg to stand on, stable until it isn't, and the wealthy almost never live that way. Start small after hours, especially if your job feels like wet cement around your ankles. Freelance work, a digital product, a service, flipping. Side projects don't have to pay off tomorrow. The ones built on something that genuinely interests you compound, because you'll keep showing up. Then automate everything, savings and investments that move on their own. The day you're paid. Think of income as rivers feeding a lake. One river is a drought risk. Several rivers, flowing automatically, fill the lake whether you're watching or not. Now look up from the spreadsheet, because the people around you are a financial force. Your circle sets your normal. Sit at a table where everyone complains about bills, and complaining becomes your strategy. Sit where people trade ideas, and ideas become your reflex. Environment beats willpower almost every time. So stop relying on willpower and change the room. Your bank balance is sitting at that table too. And once you're learning, give it away. Teaching what you've learned locks it deeper into you and opens doors you can't see from where you stand. Explain a concept to a friend. Answer a stranger's question online. Share the article that helped you. Value is magnetic. It travels fast and comes back from directions you never expected. Start small, make it real, and let the ripple work. One more table you're sitting at, whether you know it or not: the internet. Employers, clients, and partners check you before they ever meet you, and every reckless post outlives the mood that produced it. Your online footprint is a resume that never stops circulating. Curate it. Wins, skills, direction. Not perfection, direction. The internet never forgets, but it also never stops advertising you. Decide what the ad says, which leaves the long game, the habits that hold all the others together. Write your goals down. On paper, a dream becomes a blueprint, and blueprints need math. If the plan takes 10 years, the decade passes whether you act or not, so measure everything. Income, expenses, hours practiced, people reached. What you measure, you master. Ambition for the destination, numbers for the road. The road runs straight through discomfort, by the way. Comfort zones are cozy prisons, and nothing grows in them. The awkward conversation, the uncertain project, the skill you're bad at. That's where the lessons and the money are hiding. And money chases growth wherever it goes. Growth means setbacks, and setbacks will hit hard. That's guaranteed. But an obstacle isn't a verdict. It's an intel briefing. Each failure maps the terrain a little better. The people who win aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who refuse to stay down. What keeps you swinging is the habit that sounds least like money advice: gratitude. Each night, note 3 things you're thankful for. It's not sentiment, it's calibration. Gratitude kills envy, sharpens perspective, and makes you act like someone who expects more good things. That posture pulls opportunity closer than any hustle does. And then there's the habit that activates every other one: now. Within the next hour, do one money-building thing. Cancel a subscription, move $10. Open the account you've been meaning to open. Delay kills more wealth than bad decisions do. Small acts, repeated, stack into everything. Because here's the truth underneath all of it. Discipline beats talent, luck, and intelligence. Not occasionally, reliably. Wealth is rarely built on wild risks. It's built by ordinary people stacking small actions when it's boring, when it's hard, when nothing visible is happening. Show up anyway. Without discipline, no strategy works. With it, almost any strategy does. So tonight, around 11 p.m., the phone will be in your hand. The scroll will be one thumb flick away. And for the first time, you'll see it for what it is. Not downtime, but a default. The default day got you the bank account you have. A different default gets you a different one. You don't need luck, a raise, or a better economy. You need tomorrow to be different, and then you need it to be different again. If this gave you a clearer picture of where your money actually comes from, subscribe. That's the whole pitch. And watch this next. It's the direct follow-up to what we just covered, why everything changes after you save $20,000. It's on the screen. See you on the next one.